Oh, hi! This week, we're gonna make a Jayne Cobb inspired woven back sweater. Insert picture here because I don't know how else to explain it. I feel like this one's gonna be pretty easy, so let's just jump right into it. Here's what you need. It's just coffee because you can't drink beer every day. Oh, I had to think too hard about winking and I overpoured. The main thing you're gonna need is just some kind of crew neck sweater. Sleeve length and shit doesn't matter. Also, you can do this with whatever fucking color scheme you want. You do like a black or white or gray base with, you know, a rainbow swatch on the back. Someone do that, please. As for my accent colors, I'm hacking up this Dukes of Hazzard t-shirt I bought in Kentucky as a preteen. And speaking of Firefly, this is a demolished shirt that got fucked up in the mail that my dearest friend Rockwell ordered. So yes, this is my color palette. You don't need an entire t-shirt for the weaving pieces, especially if you're using more than one color. You're just gonna need to have enough to cut into strips that will go all the way across the back of the sweater. I suppose you could do this on the front of the sweater, but I'm gonna do it on the back. You will also need a measuring tool, something to mark with, a pair of scissors, preferably a bigger pair, but I don't want to be a size queen, matching thread and a sewing machine, and probably some like pins and shit. Okay, let's do the thing. I have my canvas laid out. I'm just gonna use some chalk, but especially if you're marking on the inside, it doesn't really matter. And I am going from the bottom cuff to the top collar cuff. So everywhere I'm marking is where I'm going to be cutting. And I want each section to be 1.5 inches wide. So from the center line, I'm going to mark out 1.5 inches on both sides until I get to the edge. I don't have side seams on this sweater, but that would be a good stopping point if you do have side seams. So I have my lines marked out. I did even out the top because I don't want some of the weaving to go like just to the collar and the rest to be up here. I want to keep it as rectangular as possible. So now, making sure I don't cut through all the layers and totally fuck up this project, I'm just gonna follow all of these lines, starting at this little line up top and ending at the bottom, not cutting through the cuff, and also making sure nothing is getting cut across or else you'll have loose strands everywhere. You want everything to be intact, you just want some slits. Let's get to chopping. That's the best goddamn sound, isn't it? This is what that looks like. A lot of shit going on now. Get some sweater tentacles happening. One important thing to note is if your sweater is stretchy material, make sure that the pieces you're weaving through are also stretchy. Vice versa. Not stretchy, stick it with non-stretchy. I don't know many sweaters that aren't stretchy though. Is that a thing? That's gotta be a thing. Alright, I'm gonna flip this baby right side out again and set this aside and we will chop the other color strips. Also, this is gross, but like, when I say I'm a sweat monster, I'm not fucking around. This was every t-shirt of mine in high school. Forever awkward sweating. I'm not just trying to be relatable. I was gross. Was, as if that's at all in the past. I'm just measuring across the width of each of the rows. I need 7 strips of each color with my measurements. They're all gonna be 1.5 inches wide. They need to be 17 inches long. So I'm just gonna mark all that shit out. Basically, I'm gonna be marking out a big grid on the back of the shirt and then cutting it into all the strips. And do that for both colors, or however many color stripes you're gonna be doing. So I have all my strips laid out. One thing to note is on the ends, like the long way, you want to add a little bit of seam allowance, so just like 1/2 inch on either side. So I'm cutting the last of my strips. Now it's time to assemble. Lower my dress form so it's the height of a more normal person. So decide which color you want first, and just make sure that the right side of the fabric is facing out. I'm taking this seam allowance, tucking it right into the top corner right here. Pin that in place just like this. Now I'm gonna start weaving. Over a red loop, under a red loop. Over a red loop, under a red loop. Do that until you get to the end, and then when you get to the other edge, just go ahead and tuck seam allowance in and pin that down. Now grab your second color, line it up so it's right at the bottom of this top ribbon. Now you're going to do the opposite over under. Just keep everything nice and snug up to the row just under it. As you can probably guess, you're just going to have to do a fuckload of this. So I tried doing this on the dress form, but there's too much scooching you have to do. So the flatter the surface, the better. Said scooching is going to take forever. Go ahead and cue up some Brendan Urie Vine compilations, or maybe clips of Darren Criss singing songs from Hedwig and the Angry Inch. 10 out of 10 would recommend that musical. I love how this came out so much. Okay, so you should have 2 rows of pins. Ow! God damn it. Hopefully not in your fingers. You can either hand stitch this if you want to take more of your time with it. I'm going to flip this inside out so that I make sure I get all the tails of these. If you're wondering if this is going to be easy to fit under the machine without catching multiple layers, other than the ones you're intending to sew through, no, it's not going to be easy. Also, I feel like I'm putting my hand in a cloth raccoon trap. Oh, now the pins are on the wrong side. Hoo boy. Make sure all these other like red strands are pulled away and you're absolutely not stitching through any extra layers that you shouldn't be. It's going to be awkward, but you'll get through it. Now I'm just going to clip off some of these ends, and that's the last step. And now it's just a matter of flipping this baby right side out, then just re-zhuzhing everything. Are you ready for the big reveal? Oh, yeah. It's hard to see it turned around, but I like it. Time to go drink some mother's milk or something.